Okay, this is my 1967 Ford F250. It's a custom cab. It's two-wheel drive. Still put away for the winter. I'm in Toronto, Canada. It's March here, so haven't got it out yet. Here's the interior. Mostly stock. What I'm starting to work on today is I'm starting to work on the rag joint. Picked this up from Rock Auto, I believe. And what I'm going to be replacing is the rag joint down there. The only special tool that I need is 12.7/16 to get that one bolt off there. It's a 352 V8. It's got the original oil bath air cleaner on the top. Truck runs nice, but as I said, just haven't had it out yet. So I'm going to start by loosening some bolts around the steering column and in the rag joint there. And I believe that I also have to loosen a couple of the bolts at the bottom of the steering column here. And I think with loosening all those up, I'll be able to get enough room to replace that rag joint. Okay, I've managed to loosen up a few things. I've loosened up the 12.7/16 there, and I've loosened up this bolt around the collar there, and that was a 1/2 inch. I've also loosened up the bolts in here holding the steering wheel column. So we'll see if I've loosened up enough to pull that column back and to get out that old rag joint there. I had to replace it. I had some excess play in the steering wheel, and hopefully replacing that rag joint and then some more adjustments to the steering box will clean up the steering on this truck. Okay, when I was talking before, I missed two rather obvious bolts, and these were a little bit tricky to get off. They were essentially on this new piece. They were these ones, which hold the bottom of that steering column into the rag joint. So I've got everything off, and you can see up here I've loosened this collar, and there's kind of a little plastic washer kind of thing and a metal collar, and I've just got to make sure that I get those snug and into the right spot when I'm done all this. So I didn't take off this this bracket that's holding the brake lines, so it was a little bit a little bit interesting trying to get all those bolts off. I had to keep using a different combination of ratchets, and they're all 1/2 inch there. So I'm going to try and knock this old rag joint off and get the new one on. Okay, there's the old rag joint. It really fought me coming off, and what I realized is as soon as I took the bolt on this side all the way out, then that made a huge difference. So you can see it's I don't know what kind of shape it's in, but the new one will definitely be an improvement. New one's in there. I used a little chalk mark just to really try and make sure I got it on the right spot. I still might be a tooth off. I'll have to figure that out. I really had to loosen that white washer at the top, and then I actually used a little Play-Doh canister to keep my steering wheel out, to keep the bottom of this steering column away from the rag joint. And even with it that's what I used there. And even with it all the way out, it was still a pretty tight fit. So now I'm gonna just bolt it all back in, and hopefully that improves my steering. So I was tightening everything up in there, and I was just kind of tightening but not over tightening, and I was thinking, okay, I wonder if there's instructions in the box about how tight to make these things. So I don't know if you can see there. Flange nuts to 11 foot-pounds and the pinch bolt to 32 foot-pounds. It says use a 5/8 socket to gently tap the coupler into place. What I did to get it going, it was a little tough at first. I used the base of the steering column. I was really gentle with it and just tapped it with the steering wheel from inside the cab. The other thing I did is I had it yeah, you can't see with all the PB blaster, but I had the new rag joint right down touching the steering cup, like the steering box, that spline there, and I backed it up a little bit just for no resistance. That's how it was when I pulled it off. Okay, well that's it. I tightened up that last bolt holding in that collar, and I also went back into the cab and I tightened up the 2 bolts that were holding up the steering column. So that's it. That's that new rag joint in. I'll drive it a little bit, make sure everything's straight, and then check my bolts to make sure I've got them all tightened up enough. There's the rest of the engine. I've owned the truck about 2 years, sat for about 5. So the first year was really just getting it back on the road. Second year, just got new tires, didn't do too much with it. And now I've got some time to gradually improve things on it. Thanks for watching. Hopefully I'll post more videos as I begin to get more stuff done on it.